Threatened, one hero isn't enough. Many will answer the call. They are the legends of tomorrow. And who else is worthy to tell the tale but the podcast of tomorrow? Hello and welcome, everyone. I am, of course, your host, Zachary here, and I have gone through this timeline to recruit others who, like me, have no effect on history. Tyler has been lost to the time stream and creating his own offspring time aberration, but with me, of course, is Philip Perich.
You can find me in Aruba. It's a magical place.
Oh, I was thinking that too.
Uh-huh.
Oh, boy. So, here we are at the season finale, and in true legend form, it wasn't that bad.
Mm-mm. No, I mean...
It had its problems, but we'll get to those.
Just most of their stories. Well, last season, this season, I mean, they have an idea for a beginning and then an ending, and I think they just, try to fill in that middle. It's like, oh, what?
But it's weird, because last year they had an excuse. Well, sort of. Last year they could probably say, oh, we were rushed into it, we should have had more time, but what was their excuse in season 2?
I have no idea.
So, starting off with my nitpicks, Rick couldn't tell where he was?
I guess not. Well, weren't most of the ship was damaged? Maybe the sensors were out, because at the scale...
But it's not about the sensors. He had a window.
Yeah, but at that scale, could you really tell where you're at?
You might see the giant Eobard Thawne walking by.
Well, Rip was kind of crazy, too. Who says he even looked out the window?
I guess. And what, Gideon could... Gideon could use the sensors excuses why she couldn't tell they were, that tiny. But it's just... Right, I could buy it if he was covered, but the fact that he actually has a window. He never looked and went, wait a minute, what? That's just a small nitpick.
And the ship was just hanging there, so why couldn't he repair it and take off?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, Damien, that's so cute. That's adorable.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. Although, again, hey, Damien uses his magic. I would have loved one person to go, and you didn't use that on Thawne. Why?
Too fast.
Yeah. Although I did one thing I thought was I found it very satisfying when Rory knocked him out, because it's like, I have magic. Yeah, bam, bam. It's like, well, that was easy. Why didn't we do that before?
Yeah. Waiting for him to be like, Harry freaking Potter.
Now, here's something I was thinking. They go back in time to get the blood of Christ. Couldn't they have gone back at any point to get the blood?
Yeah, you would think.
So they could have just gotten the blood. Again, it reminds me of 5-second movies. It's like, yeah, if they did this, the episode would be 2 seconds long.
Yeah, and it's like, once you pick it up, why stand there and go, look, I got it, that was easy.
Oh, God, how many times did you want to punch? Yeah, that's probably the first time when the hero dies, I'm like, yeah, his fault.
Mm-hmm.
And he did it twice.
And isn't it convenient that all the members who were killed had doubles there, time doubles there?
You know what's funny? Some people were bothered by that because it's so easy, but I kind of like the aberration ending. I think they could have gone even further with it. These guys, they're heroes with nothing to lose. They know they're gonna, if they succeed, these versions don't exist.
That's true.
I wasn't as bothered. I could see it coming. Dead. And also, you gotta love, once again, they have an excuse at least for the alternate, the aberration legends, an excuse for them not to have a firestorm.
Yeah, but I was just waiting for I was waiting for I don't know, the Jax at that time to get killed and the time aberration to take his place.
We found out he couldn't because once time was fixed, they would have faded anyways.
Yeah, I thought Stein was going to get attacked and the two Jaxes were going to combine into a firestorm or something.
Oh, jeez. Here's the thing. We've said this. As much as I like the two actors, like of course I love Victor Garber, and the actor who plays Jax is good too.
Mm-hmm.
But they need to get rid of Firestorm. As much as I enjoy the character, it's got too many limitations. It's the same reason you can't really have Superman on it. Well, like, you can kind of get away with Superman, but it's like he's too powerful, and of course it hurts the effects budget.
Yeah. They need a bigger budget if they want Firestorm.
And they could easily do a team with basic. Well, maybe not. They don't have to be completely mortal, but like just enough that they don't have to have a super effects thing. Because as the point of the show, even though it's a comic book show, is not superhero battles. It's time travel. So most of the effects, most of the money should go to like sets. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like Ray. You know, he doesn't need that big bulky suit to shrink. Make it so he can like shrink on his own or something. I mean, that's still an effect, but you don't have to add in the effect of the suit.
Well, obviously, that's when we find out this episode the suit is completely freaking useless.
Oh man, what about how about when Eobard kills him? I was like, oh, that's badass.
I know, right? And it's like, well, that's okay. So and another thing about the suit, when they're doing the big fight later on, so many problems with that, but we'll get to that. But here's a big one. So the suit can survive in the cold of space, but apparently Captain Cold's cold gun can bring it down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sure, why not? And although one thing they did in the episode I like, when the Eobard from the alternate reality comes there, even the villains get a time travel headache.
Oh yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm from the future, and they're like, yeah, we know that. No, your future.
Someone made some a friend of mine, shout out to Nolan Laughlin, me and him discussed the show a lot because he watches all the CW shows. And he made some interesting points, like, well, one that would have made sense to do, but it would have wrecked the show. Like, if they're going to use the spear to rewrite reality, why didn't they just use Evil Rip? They go back in time. Oh, when did you last have the spear? Oh, here's the exact date. Oh, good. Grab.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. There's so many.
But again, yeah.
Well, at least they explained why 1916 was still the way it was, is because, you know, the altered reality had to like go backwards and forwards and reach it eventually.
Well, yeah, remind me of the time boom from the comic book Flashpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, another point that Nolan made, and I found this interesting. In an early episode, when they say, "Oh, Thawne must be the speedster," he says, "Oh, there's no record of him." You would think the Time Master database would have. Because they had the Pilgrim who erased people, you'd think they would have a database of people who have been erased from time.
Yeah.
Because if the Time Master, although then you can argue well, that's an interesting question. Does Rick's database still get updated? Does the Wave Riders?
Probably not, because you would think that was like some mechanism of the Time Masters.
Yeah, they still have interest. Now, there was one question my friend did put forward, and other people, and I think I want to address it. They're all talking about, Eobard had the spear. Why didn't he go back to his own time? But I think I was thinking about this, and I think there's two reasons for it. One, see, people forget that, yeah, he's this brilliant scientist, but he's a brilliant scientist in current time.
Mm-hmm.
In the future, he's probably just, maybe he might be, semi-smart, so that's why, obviously, but they say, oh, why didn't you just rewrite reality, blah, 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 blah. But I think the second reason establishes even better. He got to rewrite time and pretty much be the king of Central City.
Yeah, he wanted to show it. He wanted to show his dominance. He wanted to kill Barry Allen. He wanted to, I guess. Actually,
that's an interesting point. Dark had the Flash mask, but Eobard didn't?
Unless they all kept them in one location. I don't know, but I was just waiting to see Cisco or Caitlin and have him, like, you know, controlling them. Even, you know, like, Caitlin's his, like, Eobard's girlfriend or something, but I don't know if he killed them off, too.
Oh, God, the scenes when they're trying to lie to each other when they're, you know, aberrations was just painful. No. Yeah, and here's something that's never addressed. What happened to Tolkien? I mean, I think he probably would have just ran, but it's kind of like, wait a minute, but so this was changed, but this was, wait, what's going on? I was really confused by what the current time, like, changing, they didn't address it at all. You realize that, right?
What?
How things were changed since the Aberration team went back, because that means certain episodes, certain events of the last episode didn't happen.
Yeah, but they went to the church to find the blood, but yeah, I would assume it wasn't there. It's
See, your head hurts.
Well, that's why they're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, exactly right.
Oh, what about when the two versions of them tried to take off in the Wave Rider?
Oh, that was sick. I kind of liked the two rips. Like this, it actually when they're mad at each other, like it reminded me of for like interacting, and they both know it's really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminded me of the episode of Red Dwarf where they accidentally go back in their own timeline, and his past self is pissed at his future self for doing it. It was really funny.
And what about so that Wave Rider comes down and they run for the other one? So I'm trying to remember they didn't like blow up that first Wave Rider, right? So
well, well, you could. I was thinking that too because like it's also the aberrant rays Atom suit, but it could be just easy 2 lines to explain it as anything from the alternate reality just faded, like including the wave,
like the other Sarah did. Okay, yeah,
right, exactly. That's why I think that's why they showed her doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm fine with that explanation. You know, it's because as well as we know, there's still a jump ship stuck somewhere. What is it? And was it the civil? I don't know. There's like stuff everywhere.
Yeah, I know. And what about Nate and Amaya just saying "F it" and staying together?
Yeah, I really don't know how I feel about that because I'm really worried for the current Vixen.
I know. I'm like, okay, so you're just sticking up your middle finger to your granddaughter? Okay.
Well, as we see from and we'll talk about this when we get to the ending, but next season's probably not going to be an established timeline.
Oh, from the ending? I'm like...
Yeah. I've seen that ending so many times.
So is that like an alternate timeline? I'm like, why wouldn't that affect Flash and Arrow for the rest of the season?
Well, I don't know. We'll see what they address. But, okay, so apparently the secret weapon for taking down Firestorm is an arrow.
Well, I guess if you kill one of them before they can merge.
No, there were no. Oh
yeah.
He shot him while he was Firestorm.
Mm-hmm.
It's That's like, right. Sure, why not? And then he takes down, like I said, he takes down the Atom suit. I did like the fight with Sarah and Damian, though. That was fun.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
How about when alternate Nate says "Don't be a douche"? It'd be funny if Amaya went, "Why is he calling me a feminine hygiene device?"
Ah!
I don't know if I don't know if that word existed back in the 40s. I don't know history.
Yeah, but they didn't use it like they do today.
Well, yeah. Okay, please. You think they address that stuff? Okay, so here's a big thing we need to. I think the biggest nitpick of. Okay, I have said we've all said this, like how Eobard could really kill all the legends, and this is well. There's so many things to say, but Eobard could kill all the legends in a second. Mm-hmm. They had okay explanations why he did it earlier in the season. I can buy that. Mm-hmm. Like he didn't want to risk changing the timeline too much to attract the undeads, whatever we want to call him, the Reaper of Flashes, whatever. But right here in this episode, there's absolutely no reason for him just to run up to all the legends and snap their necks.
Yeah.
And then when he has like 100 of him,
yeah, it's been like a hurricane.
but there's no reason. There's absolutely no reason he didn't win. There's absolutely 100. I mean, one speedster against a bunch of people whose powers really don't equal out to his, and then there's like 100 of him. Like they show like Steel and Ray swinging and missing and sometimes connecting. Like, so what? With a Thawns running up and then going tag. We saw Eobard kill. He could. It's like absolutely no. This is why I'm actually hoping that whoever the villain is, it's I don't know. It's either not a meta or maybe someone too so powerful. Mm-hmm. He's above them and they have to defeat him a certain way. But it's one of those things that it's the limitations of being live action. Which characters they pick. Eobard, a speedster to the right people, is like a god.
Oh yeah.
There's absolutely no explanation for it. It really took away a lot of the ending for me.
Oh, but then the Black Flash takes him out.
I did like that. That was. Also, and again, I wonder how that affects. Well, like I said, we know which Eobard this is. Mm-hmm. They address it. I think they confirmed it was the Flash. Well, again, but that has problems too. But yes, we see Black Flash, well, whatever we want to call him.
Yeah, but I mean,
Just
it gets all hairy because they created that Doom world. So were there two versions of Eobard now? One who didn't create Doom world and one who did. It's just
it reminds me of when I watched, even though it was a great movie, Crisis on Two Earths. It's like what doesn't that mean? There's a alternate reality where the bad guys did win, so reality did get unmade, or how does that? It's like so many questions. Oh, it's a time travel show headache.
Oh, you know what I was waiting for? I almost forgot this. When they were talking about going back and interact, to where they had already been, and like, trying to avoid their past selves and everything. And I was waiting for Rip to go, no, we can't all break the Barry Allen rule.
Oh boy, it's just, I don't know. I hope they get a better. The villains in this show have just not really wowed me. Now, I did like the idea of like Sarah being the one to fix reality, because I like the idea that someone who is touched by darkness is the one who can resist it.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm completely fine with. Although part of me was thinking when that vision happened, like, oh, is this how they're bringing Katie back?
Yeah, no, she's gonna be a regular on Arrow again as Black Siren.
Oh, jeez. But so I think I can buy the explanation that you use the spear to defeat itself. I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm good with that.
Mm-hmm.
Although it really didn't make any sense that it disintegrated when Thawne died.
Well, I guess if he never started his thing and put it together, then it was never
again. This is
put
one
together.
of them.
Yeah, which means
I did find it poetic. Yeah.
I guess it has power again because remember Sarah depowered it, but I don't know.
Again, it's headaches. I did think it was very poetic how the Reaper Flash killed Eobard.
I know, just like he killed Ray. It's karma.
No, not like Ray. Because he didn't vibro punch Ray. He took out her. It's more like how he killed Hourman, and he's killed technically Cisco once.
Mm-hmm.
God, I hope they don't bring. You want to bring him back? Find a way to bring him back in Flash. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
Don't bring him back in Legends. Again, he's too powerful. It's the Firestorm problem.
Yeah, I don't think they're bringing him back here.
I mean, the problem is the show needs to take risks, do things with characters, because it's a chronological show. It's not a comic book where the events are going to get rewritten when the next team of writers take over.
Mm-hmm. I just think I think it was like they were trying to boost ratings, and they're like, oh, look, we have the Flash's big villain over here. We have, some Arrow guys over here.
God, that was so, and this is what pisses me off about it. As much as I thought the finale was good, it's the problem. They're making the same mistakes as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but the difference is they don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
When all the DC fans who prefer DC to Marvel, who defend DC, all say the same thing. The one thing DC has over Marvel is they retain the rights to every single character.
Mm-hmm.
So there's you want to throw in some one-off DC characters who will never or just use it. Fine, that's the whole point. You can switch them out. There's no reason not to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if Vixen staying with the team is enough. It's like, imagine if they think it's them interacting with the future self, but it's actually Vixen staying with them, which is even a bigger aberration.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Now, as for the ending, you were saying how this affects Flash Arrow. There's perhaps this isn't technically. This is like, because whenever they do something like this in like a time travel sci-fi supernatural show, it's usually some kind of alternate timeline dimension where everything's happening or once or whatever. Well, again, we'll find out in the who knows when
Probably
what this ending means.
Yeah,
I tried to see if there's any buildings that. Well, again, DC better than me, so you would know if any of those buildings are significant.
It didn't seem like it to me, but I mean, I guess the only way. I mean, they could easily explain it away why it doesn't affect Flash or Arrow if they're like, oh, it's in the future.
No. They said it was to 2017. Because they said Aruba, potting a port to Aruba 2017, and then where are we? It is Los Angeles 2017.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Is it going to be like last season where like they ended and Our Man showed up and then they just like had to write around like, oh, he just disappeared. Like, okay.
Well, I think again a lot of if season 3 is going to be good or bad, it's going to depend who the villain is. I'm not sure who's a good villain for. I can't. I'm not sure.
And I think they said they're going to have like new people again, like at least 1 or 2 new cast members. So.
Well, we'll see.
Well, because Rip's out.
Who they pick. Yep. You know what? It'd be good if they had. They should have him rebuild the vanishing point.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll be back eventually and how much. So.
Oh, I'm sure he'll come back
for like an episode or 2. Do you think he'll have like a big arc?
I really think they, as much as I like the cast, they need to switch him out more.
Yeah.
They're not utilizing their, like I said, they're not using it. But okay, so final thoughts on this finale. Again, it's the same thing that happened last year. The first episode was alright. The last episode was decent. And again, there was, I think Eobard being the villain held back because he's too powerful, held back. But overall, there were parts of it as I've said, I really liked. So overall, I'll give it a decent rating. But with the horrible storylines, that doesn't say much for the show. I mean, that's the thing I hate about it. I want this show to be good, and it's just not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's your final thoughts on this?
No, I agree with you. I mean, like we said, the beginning's always good. The ending is good. They need like a meteor story or something just to fill in like that, so they have stuff for that middle part.
You know what? They could steal a page from Once Upon a Time. Because what Once Upon a Time will do sometimes, they'll have 2 storylines in one season, and they will be done by the mid-season break. Sometimes it will lead into the next one. Does it work? Not always, but that could be an interesting one. Or even have 2 different sets of teams. There's so much they could do with it, and they're just not.
Yeah, 2 sets of teams, or like you separate a bunch of the teams, so you get like this one story this week, this one story the next week, and kind of.
That's actually something Warehouse 13 did that worked decently most of the time. They had 2 sets of teams. They would have an A story, B story, and they would show the 2 teams. Sometimes they would interact, but mostly their storylines were separate.
Yeah, because I mean, they're talking about adding new characters. I mean, if you have enough characters, you can't split them into 2 teams.
Again, a lot of it's going to depend who the villain is.
Mm-hmm. Well, with a team like this, and even if it gets bigger, do you need like them to face another team, or can you go with like one Vandal Savage or something like that?
Or I don't know, because it's another thing that I think one thing they could try is maybe maybe try one season where there's not an overarching story, like just each week they're fixing a different aberration. That's the whole, do what most time travel shows do.
Yeah, but they don't seem to do that on the CW. Every season on every show, it's one master villain or a group has a plan, and
on the shows are usually better when they're isolated.
Mm-hmm.
Supergirl does that.
I just think
What?
I was gonna say, I just thought it'd be interesting if what if one villain affected at least the Earth 1 shows, like next season on the Flash, everyone's speculating it's the Thinker. What if everyone's fighting different plots of the Thinker?
And that could be interesting.
So all their seasons are actually one big crossover, but all the heroes don't interact except for that crossover.
That could work.
Mm-hmm.
So can't really think of anything else to say. How about you?
No, I think that's about it.
Okay, so why don't you do social media, and then we'll take us out.
All right. If you would like to share your thoughts with us, or if you would even like to join Zach and podcast about season 3 of Legends of Tomorrow, contact us, podcastoftomorrow@gmail.com. Facebook is Podcast of Tomorrow, the Legends of DC podcast, and our Twitter is @podcasttomorrow. And Zach, where can people talk to you about any of this stuff?
You can always find me. Just search Inchfromtanny. You can find me. It's the Inchfromtanny brand. We got a lot of things working in the pipeline, so it should be good. So yeah, that's it for this season. I mean, I'll probably come back if they ask me. We'll just see what I have hope. I always want to give these shows a chance. Mm-hmm. Although if you're sick of hearing me complain about the show every week, just write in and they'll replace me.
Or no, come on here and join him and be his little ray of sunshine.
Yes. My little Ray Palmer of sunshine. No. No, my third ray of whatever. Okay, but yeah, so just usual thoughts. The show has such potential. We'll see if they make it in the next season. So, well, that's all. Time has been broken, so it's time for us to jet off into the time stream and see if we can, well, like any of the CW heroes, make things work. Until next time.